Welcome to another trade recap and forecast in a form of a live stream, let's say. So, hope everyone is doing well. If you can just put it in the comments if the sound is okay, because I've had a little bit of issues. But yeah, hopefully the sound is coming through. Welcome to the live stream, and let's do a quick recap of what has been happening in the last week. So the big news is, I think, with Trump. Abdullahi, the sound is good. Okay, thank you very much. Great. Let's put the seat up. So yeah, basically the big news is that in the last few days, Trump has announced that the tariffs won't be as hard on China, and that we can see possibly a deal struck. Okay, so that's bullish for stocks. We had a bit of a reaction. This was the first reaction that we had on the 9th of April when there was a 90-day pause on tariffs. And now we got a bit of a pullback, and now we're getting another bullish reaction. So currently the market is a little bit risk on, So in the last couple of weeks, it has been switching from risk on to risk off. But overall, it was a massive risk off environment with the sell off. Now we're getting a bit of positive news. So that is good for stocks. It is good for the US dollar, I believe, which is pushing up a little bit. It is good for US oil, which is also pushing up a little bit. But for gold, it is not the best. Okay, so for gold, it is not the best. Let me actually put Bitcoin here on the watch list. For gold, we had a bit of a retrace because, of course, gold is a risk-off asset, okay? I did get taken out of my trade. So if we go to the 1-hour chart, let me just print where the entry was. Okay. So the entry was right here. This was the entry. Come on, keyboard. With the stop loss below this low. And then I trailed it on the 4-hour chart. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, the last trail level was at around here, around 3,280. Okay. So got taken out, and then the price decided to bounce right off this level. That is interesting. It ended up being around 2.8% trade, okay, 2.8 R. I think I risked around 1%. And at one point, it was running at 5.5. So yeah, it was running at 5.5. Your question may be, why didn't I close it on the top? Why didn't I close it here? Because FTMO was in massive profit. Darwin X was doing pretty well. Alpha Capital was doing okay. But you never know. You never know when the market is going to correct. Maybe if I closed it here at the high, maybe this could have just kept massively going up all the way to 4K. Okay. And then I would be pretty sad because I would have missed a lot of the move. So you never know where to actually get out. And that's the reason I use a trailing stop loss, and I stick to that trailing stop loss level. Okay. So yeah, somewhere around here was the trailing stop loss below this swing low 4-hour chart. And I was pretty happy with that decision. That was my gold trade. I didn't have any more setups other than this. I'm looking to get in some setups. Okay, I'm looking to take some trades. Let me show you what I personally have on my watch list for today. So for the fundamental strategy, I have the euro dollar, I have the pound dollar, and I have Bitcoin. Okay. All three are being bullish on the Edge Finder, which is the software that I use to get a fundamental bias. Okay. Fundamental bias through the Edge Finder. once I get that bias, I can look for some potential entries. So let's start with the daily chart on these three instruments. Let's do that. Looking on the daily chart, for the euro dollar, also something I recently started using is the 20 EMA. Okay, 20 EMA, just very simple stuff. Why am I using this? Well, it's pretty easy to see when the price is heavily overextended. Okay, pretty easy to see when the price is heavily overextended if you're using a 20 EMA. As you can see, markets are pretty far away or have been pretty far away from the EMA at this point. So I wasn't really happy to look for trades at this point, but now we did have a pullback. Now we did have that nice pullback, and I like this. It would be maybe a bit better if we dropped a bit lower, if we pulled back a bit lower. So I'm not searching for entries right now. Just hide this. Let's look at the 1 hour. But if we retrace a little bit lower, I will consider an entry. So if we do something like this and then bounce up and then get a flag or get a reversal or get a, a break and retest, or maybe even some sort of a liquidity sweep. So basically any sort of an entry pattern right here, I would be pretty happy to get in. I may consider getting in at this level if we get some sort of an entry, but the best probabilities, the best possibility for me would be if we drop a bit lower and then we get a even better risk to reward. Okay, why am I mentioning the risk to reward? Because if you buy right now, your stop loss is going to need to be at this level, let's say. But if you wait for the price to potentially go a bit lower, then your stop loss is all the way here. And if the price goes in your direction like this, well, that is great to get a nice risk to reward. Okay, so that is the reason why I would prefer to see the price go a little bit lower on the euro dollar. And that is the general game plan. Your question may be what are the fundamentals? As I mentioned, the fundamental numbers are bullish. So the euro is doing better than the US dollar. And also the macroeconomic picture is something I also pay heavy attention to. Overall picture is risk off. Overall picture is very bearish for the US dollar. So investors are fleeing from the dollar into potentially some other currencies. One of them being the euro. So that is pretty cool. One interesting thing, I recently went to Dubai and I had to pay 500 euros for a deposit for a rental car. Okay, so if you go Euro AED, and this is what happened. I recently got my deposit back, but it is very interesting that my deposit ended up being around 5 or 6% less than what I paid, because in this brief period of a couple of weeks, the euro heavily appreciated against the actually even more than 5%, around 8%. Okay, yeah, crazy numbers. But basically, the euro heavily appreciated against the I think it's the dirham, and the dirham is pegged to the US dollar. So this move happened on the euro dollar, and it happened on the euro against the United Arab Emirates dirham. Okay. So yeah, this is a real life example of how Forex impacts basically our lives. You know, I paid 500 euros right here around at the beginning of March, and I got, I think, 460 or 470 euros yesterday, you know, because the exchange got messed up. The euro heavily appreciated against the dirham. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention that. Maybe some of you will find that interesting. Getting back to just check the charts. This chart and this chart. Pretty much the same chart, because I mentioned the dirham is pegged to the US dollar. So now you know what I need to see, or what I would prefer to see, the best scenario on the euro dollar. Let's now go to the pound. Okay, let's go to the pound. Let's see what is happening here. Again, a nice uptrend on the daily chart. I'm going to also mention that on the Edge Finder, the pound US dollar is pretty bullish, so it's looking pretty healthy. So yeah, looking bullish, good economic numbers. Currently, UK is doing, or the pound is doing better than the US dollar. Not as good as the euro, okay? But it is doing better than the dollar. Second thing, again, risk-off environment. The dollar is dropping out of the sky. That means the pound US dollar should go up and has been going up. That is reflected in the daily chart. So now I have the daily chart in front of me, and I'm looking for buy setups. What am I seeing? Well, I'm seeing that at this point, we were very much overextended. This is the 20 EMA. This is kind of the mean of the move, okay? The mean of the move. And you can see the distance between the price right here and the 20 EMA. It was a massive distance. So I wanted to see a bit of a pullback. And right now, we are actually starting to see price pull back a little bit. Okay, we are starting to see the price pull back a little bit. So that is pretty good. I like that. Is it enough of a pullback? Not really. I would like to see maybe this level get tagged. Okay, so maybe this level, or even better, this level. Yeah, somewhere around here. So let's say the upper one. Let's go on the 1 hour chart, and I'll show you what would I like to see on the 1 hour chart in order to take a setup. Okay. So on the 1 hour chart, we already had that pullback, but I would like to see the price pull back a little bit more, a little bit more, because I don't really want to be buying at the exact highs. If we can pull back a bit more and then bounce off of this level, get a flag, get a break and retest, get a reversal entry, get a liquidity sweep, any sort of an entry would work, to be honest. Any sort of an entry, if you have been following me for a couple of, let's say, months, or maybe even the last 2 years, you know that I like to trade specific entries on the 1 hour chart. Those are basically the flag. This is the flag, or the break and retest, retesting this high, or it is the reversal when you have a descending channel, then the price reverses, retests this most recent high right here. Or we also have the liquidity sweep. That is when the price just kind of ranges around and creates upper and lower liquidity, and then I look for the lower or the upper liquidity to get captured, and I enter in right here. Okay, that could happen right here because we are getting a bit of a range. So yeah, that could happen here. So let's see if the pound dollar can retrace a bit more, and then I would be pretty happy to look for those buy setups. But right now I'm being a little bit more patient. Okay, a little bit more patient. I will consider a buy setup if, let's say, the 20 EMA catches up to the daily chart or goes up a bit more and we are just kind of flat and pausing. That would be okay, but I would prefer to see the price on the daily chart pull back a bit more in some of these significant areas. Okay, that would be good in my opinion. That's for the pound. Then the next one is Bitcoin. Okay, this is something that may be a bit strange for you guys that have been following the live streams for a while. Why am I trading Bitcoin? Why am I even analyzing it? Well, I have analyzed it before. I have a long-term investment into Bitcoin and into Ethereum. I think I bought somewhere around here at these levels, okay? Somewhere at these levels. But now with this fundamental strategy, with a daily chart, with a very big stop loss, I'm actually looking to potentially get in on a buy setup. Okay. The reason is Bitcoin came up on the Edge Finder. It came up as a bullish reading. It came up as a nice potential buy setup. And also, what is even more important is Bitcoin is usually connected with the Nasdaq. So with Bitcoin is usually connected with the technology stocks. But this time, the Nasdaq heavily retraced. The Nasdaq just kept on massively dropping while Bitcoin is doing a lot better, I would say. It is doing a lot better. Yes, we had the correction, but we're getting some nice bullish price action, which is not really happening on the Nasdaq. So it is possible that those investors that are scared, that are fleeing from the U.S. markets, they are going into gold because we saw gold massively exploding up. But it is possible that they are also going into Bitcoin a little bit. Diversifying, putting some of their money into gold and putting some into Bitcoin. That is why you can see possibly this move to the upside. This is looking good. Am I looking for an entry right now? No, I would like to see potentially the price pull back to this level. So pull back a little bit so that I'm not buying at the exact highs of this move, just to pull back a little bit. How would that look like on the 1 hour chart? Well, you can see it here. This is the level. So if we can pull back a little bit and then get a nice push up and get a flag, break and retest, any sort of an entry to the upside, I would be pretty happy to get in. Okay, I would be pretty happy to get in at this level. So Bitcoin is on the watch list. Bitcoin is on the watch list, looking good, looking healthy. Relative strength is looking also very good because, as I mentioned, the Nasdaq is bearish and Bitcoin is for some reason pushing to the upside. That's a good sign. That is definitely a good sign. That's about it, what I have on the watch list for the fundamental strategy. Gold. So gold on the Edge Finder is currently not bullish. Okay, gold currently is not bullish on the Edge Finder, but I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. I don't have it on the watch list just yet. What I would like to see is, first, the macroeconomic picture is good. The macroeconomic picture is still bullish for gold. We are still producing, or we are still in a risk-off environment. Second, the Edge Finder, if it turns bullish, that would be great. Currently, it's neutral, but if it turns bullish, that would be great. And the final thing I need to see is the price is still kind of extended. And at this point, it was very far away from the 20 EMA, So the 20 EMA is not a magical indicator. It doesn't tell me when to buy or when to sell. I know a lot of people think that you could trade solely based on EMAs. I would say that is just not possible, and that the EMAs don't really give you any sort of a signal, but they are kind of a tool in your trader toolbox. So how I would use the EMAs is, as I mentioned, so the EMA is kind of the mean of the move, the center of the move, and the price usually tends to gravitate towards the 20 EMA until it continues up with the uptrend, or maybe it tends to, as you can see, pull back a little bit below the EMA and then bounce back, or right here, pull back and then bounce to the upside. So yeah, that can definitely happen. At this point, we were definitely overextended, but now we did start to pull back a little bit, which is good. We are close to it, but if we can pull back a little bit more, maybe to this area, seems like a relevant area. Let's see it on the 4 hour if it's a bit more clear. Yeah, that's definitely an area I would like. 1 hour. Yeah, we even also sort of tapped into it. So if we can pull back a little bit more and then go up and then print a flag, that would be great. And it would be pretty high probability for me to look for a buy setup. Pretty high probability for a buy setup. Shreya says, hey Marco, do you use forward value gap. Is that the term in your strategy by any chance? No. I don't use it. I only use fundamental analysis, a little bit of technicals, so support and resistance levels, and also then for the entry, I use entry patterns that I have been using for the last 2 to 3 years. That's the flag, break and retest, and reversal, blah blah blah. The 20 EMA helps me to decide my stop loss. Yeah, you could use it for that as well. Basically, EMAs or SMAs, moving averages, it's dynamic support and dynamic resistance. So it is support and resistance that always changes according to the most recent price. It's pretty cool. Main thing why I use it is because I want to see when the price is overextended, and I don't want to be a buyer, an aggressive buyer, if the price is extremely overextended or extremely far away from the 20 EMA. So yeah, just gives me a bit of a better reading on the price. Serge says, "Hi Marco, are you fine with FTMO? If yes, did you ever have any issues like payouts? I believe Bernd, who was a record holder on the leaderboard 121 times, got banned from them, which seems kind of crazy." So yes, I do have a fund account with FTMO. I have a 50K account. I never got a payout with FTMO, so I don't have experience with that. But what I do know is, if you know about Zentum Trading, which is the trading community that I have with 2 colleagues, in that community you have Nico and Griff, who are both mentors, and they made 100K. Okay, so Nico made around 100K, Griff made around 100K. I think it was in January of 2023. And because they made so much money along with other traders, we were all trading the same strategy. Because they made so much money, FTMO did not have, in my opinion, enough liquidity to pay them out. So there was an issue where they only got a 25% payout. So both Nico got $25,000 or euros, and Griff got $25,000 or euros. Okay. So that was an issue that I personally wasn't a part of, but I personally know the story. It's a bit problematic. Why did the Bernd guy get banned? I don't know. I don't think that Bernd guy is really an honest trader. I have seen some shady stuff from him, some sketchy stuff from him. So who knows what he was doing in the background? You have a lot of influencers in the investing and trading space. They buy, I don't know, 100 FTMO accounts, and then they pass some, lose some, and then some of those accounts will actually reach a payout. And then they use that payout as a marketing tool for people to buy their course. But net, if you look at their profits and losses, they are possibly around break even, maybe even in a little bit of a loss. Because if you buy 100 FTMO accounts, there's going to be 1 or 2 accounts where you manage to get a massive payout, even by just randomly pressing the buy or sell button. So the only influencers or traders in this space that I believe in or that I would listen to are the ones who have a live trading track record from a third-party verified, let's say, platform like MyFXBook, and the broker needs to be a verified broker. Okay, so not some sort of a shady, sketchy offshore broker, but a real regulated broker, such as 8Cap, IC Markets, Vantage, Oanda. Those are all very good verified brokers or regulated brokers. And I don't think it's possible to mess with your track record if you are on a verified broker. So if a trader has a verified track record with a regulated broker, only then do I believe that they can really make some money in trading. I've never seen a track record from the Bernd guy, from a verified broker. I've seen it from an unverified broker, which was super sketchy, super shady. He has like a 95% win rate, which is pretty much impossible. The best of traders don't have a 95% win rate. But yeah, now I'm talking about some different things. I don't even know if it makes sense investing time to get funded if something like this happens once they notice you making lots of profits. So the thing with the Nico and Griff, the guys I just mentioned, is all of them were trading a pretty similar. I mean, they were trading the same strategy and they had very similar entries. So, and in the rules, it says that you must have your own specific entries. Now, that is very open to interpretation. You could have a lot of, let's say, shady stuff come out of that because they can say that you're trading the same as this other unknown trader, and then they can either ban you or give you less of a payout. But I think a lot of traders have been getting and are still getting some decent payouts from FTMO. FTMO is definitely the most reputable prop firm alongside the 5%ers. So maybe 5%ers is a bit even more safer. I've never seen any drama with the 5%ers. I have seen a little bit with FTMO, but with the 5%ers, I've never seen any drama with denying payouts. So maybe the 5%ers would be a bit better for you. Definitely check out their trading conditions. But I would say don't get discouraged. And it is definitely possible to reach a payout. It is possible to reach even multiple payouts. And I don't think FTMO is going to block you just because you make a lot of profits. Okay, so yeah, and I mean, you never know. You never know. But I do think if you're a profitable trader, if you can consistently make money from the markets, if you have a good live trading track record, it is good to try out a prop firm, get funded, and try to get a payout. My advice would be to check out the 5%ers. Okay, 5%ers. I've really never heard of any drama with them. I've never heard of them rejecting a payout because of some shady reasons. Maybe you should check out a bit of a different prop firm. So the 5%ers. Okay. So thank you for the questions. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to put them in the chat. I have it open here on my right side. And yeah, makes the whole stream a bit more entertaining and makes it a lot more fun for me because, to be honest, this is pretty boring. Just opening the charts and talking about what is happening, since sometimes not a lot is happening. So I really like it when I get some questions, some comments, and then it makes everything a bit more entertaining and fun. Getting back to it, for gold, the game plan is, as you saw, pretty similar to the euro dollar and the pound dollar. Okay, they're all looking pretty similarly. I'm looking at similar levels. I'm looking for similar pullbacks, but we're just not getting a bullish reading on the edge finder for gold right now. This can change. Tomorrow we may get a bullish reading, or next week we may get a bullish reading. We shall see about that. Okay, so that's about it. Now I want to go over the OG strategy. Okay, so for our Zentum traders, this is what we are teaching and trading in Zentum. This is the strategy solely on the 1 hour chart, pure price action, purely technical analysis. Okay, so let's go through. We trade 6 currency pairs. Let's go through those 6 currency pairs and let's see if anything is setting up. And give me just 1 second. I need to do something. Okay, I'm back. It's getting a bit chilly, so I needed to change my pants. Serge says, thank you for replying. How is your year-to-date going so far? Let me see. So I have my trade journal. Let me filter by date. Date is after the 1st of Jan. I am up 0.5%, okay, for the year. So yeah, up 0.5. Pretty happy with that. I mean, most hedge funds are down 15%. Most people that are holding stocks are down 15%. So I'm up 0.5 because I took some really nice trades on gold and a trade on the euro dollar, which also did pretty nicely. But yeah, that's about it. Just trying to grind it out, just trying to get some nice setups, some nice risk off setups. How much do you risk per trade? So it depends on the setup. If I'm confident, I risk 1%. If I'm not that confident, I'm gonna risk 0.25 to 0.5. If I'm trading a new strategy, I'm gonna start with 0.25, then bump it up to 0.5, and then finally put it all the way to 1%. Okay, but it's progressive. So my risk is usually between 0.25 and 1%, depending on my level of confidence. For example, with the gold trade I took, it was a 1% risk because my confidence was pretty high. Okay, not Bitcoin. Where is it? Gold. Okay. Do you have a large account, a large personal account? No, it's not that big. It's not that big. It's around, what is it? Low 5 figures, something like that. Yeah. So it's not a small account, but it's not a huge account. It's not enough to live on. Okay. So I don't live off of my trading income. It would be impossible, and it would be too much psychological pressure. I have YouTube ads, affiliate stuff, Zentum trading, where we teach traders. But yeah, pretty much all of the income I get from trading gets reinvested back into my trading account, or for buying prop firm challenges, or for buying the S&P 500, which I bought this week. So I bought some more S&P. I bought some more S&P 500 this week. Yeah, so my bills are covered by my other income streams. All of the profits I get from trading or investing go straight back into trading and investing to compound the account. Because if you keep taking stuff out, if you keep taking your profits out of the account, then the compounding effect won't happen. And compounding is super powerful if you just risk, let's say, 1% per trade. Have you tried getting a real investor capital? I'm trying that for Darwinex. Okay, I'm trying to get it possibly for Darwinex. Trying to build a nice track record. I think I'm up around 8 or 9% on my Darwinex account. You can follow my YouTube channel for an update on that. It's gonna be coming out soon. Other than that, no. So prop firms are the most powerful and easiest way to get capital. Darwinex is pretty good, but it takes a very long time, and you need to have a really good track record, a really good return to drawdown ratio in order to actually get funded. Okay, so I'm focusing on prop firms, to be honest. I'm focusing on my personal account, and I'm focusing on prop firms. Not Darwinex. I mean, like family and friends, for example. I have a little bit of, let's say, capital from my family that I trade for them. It's not much, but it's good. It's good to have. Friends, no, not really. I don't really want to connect, let's say, personal relationships with business relationships. Because if I'm trading a lot of capital for my family and friends, and then I have a losing streak or I have a drawdown, and then I'm seeing them every single week, and then I need to explain why I have that drawdown, why I'm losing trades, which is part of the game, well, that could very easily ruin the personal relationship. So if I was ever to get investor capital, I would much rather it is someone that I'm not personally friends with, or that I don't know a lot about, Mohan says, yeah, it's gonna put you under pressure and impact your performance. Yeah, definitely. It's going to put you under a lot of pressure. Would I like to have investor capital? Yes, I would. Do I think my track record is good enough? No, to be honest, it's not currently good enough to get a lot of investor capital. So for now, I do think my trading skills are not yet at the level where I could get a lot of capital. So I still need to heavily build on my trading skills, heavily develop my trading edge. That's why I implemented this new fundamental strategy to try to get more profits and a lower drawdown. And then it's going to reflect on Darwinex. So if on Darwinex I can get some investors, that should help me also possibly to get some investors outside of Darwinex, but my main focus for now is going to be PropFirms. It's going to be PropFirm Capital, because that's really I would say the easiest and most simple way to build up your trading account. Because if you can get 1 or 2 payouts in a year, and those payouts are like 5K or 10K or maybe even 15K, you could really help yourself, and you could really build up a nice live account. And then you just keep on building live trading. You keep building a track record, and then you could attract real investors. So I think I'm still at the stage of doing PropFirms and trying to build up that really good track record. I know what you mean. I do trade my father's in-laws cash, which is a good amount of money. And every weekend I see him. He wants to know how's it going. Yeah, I've had that happen. And then once you have like a winning streak, and once you have a great trade, and you mention that you had a great trade, well, then they just don't stop asking every single time they see you. How are you doing now? How's the trade? Did you have any winners? Did you make any money? How much money did you make? So it's a lot of psychological pressure, which I would prefer to avoid. So yeah, but I did hear from, let's say, Vuk Vukovic, who runs a hedge fund, and he has a lot of investors, and he told me that with those investors you need to have a really personal relationship, and he often talks to them on the phone. He often goes to like lunch and dinner with his clients or his investors. So in the end, looks like even the investors that you don't know actually do become your friends, because I mean they give you a lot of money, so they expect for you to make money, and they expect for you to be available for any questions. And it's a struggle, but it's worth it. If you get a lot of capital, and if you make a lot of profits, and you get a good profit split, it's definitely worth it. I started in December and made in the first 2 months 11%. Oh, awesome! That's great. Then he gave me more money, and I hit a losing streak in February and March. But I told him that it will eventually come. I mean, drawdowns, losing streaks, it's part of the game. But investors or family or friends that give you money, they don't know much about trading, and they just think if you're a good trader, you're just making money every single week. And if you're a bad trader, you're losing money every single week. The reality is that for 2 months you can make a lot of money, and then the next 2 months you could be in a drawdown. You could be only taking losing trades, which is tough to explain, because they expect you to make money every single week, or maybe every single day if they are completely nuts. So just hang in there. If you have good backtesting data, if you can prove that you have a clear trading edge, then this is just a period of drawdown, a period of losing trades, which will pass. So just hang in there and keep executing your setups. Keep following your plan. If you're losing confidence, if you're losing faith, well, then backtesting is a great way to build your confidence back up. Okay, backtesting will show you that your system does perform well or has performed well in the past, and that'll make you more confident to stay with the system, and to keep following what the system is telling you to buy or sell. So yeah, good luck, and let's get back to the charts now. So what did we say? I have 6 currency pairs here. This is what the Zentum gang is trading: EU, GU, AU, EJ, AJ, and NJ. I'm going to have to say none of these pairs are looking conducive right now. So none of them are looking extremely good at this point in time. Okay, because for this strategy, we are focusing solely on the 1 hour chart. Okay, and EU looks flat. EU is looking flat and range bound. I would expect for this short term for the price to range around like this. GU again looks the same. So unfortunately looks flat and range bound. AU, Aussie dollar. And also, Serge, if you could write down which strategy you're trading. Are you trading technicals, fundamentals? Nice talking to you. See you next time. Oh, yeah, sure. So see you in the next live stream. But yeah, on the next live stream, if you want to write down what sort of strategy you're trading, so I could have a bit more idea of what is going on, maybe I can help you. So Aussie dollar, a flat and range bound. Just looks a bit corrective. I'm not seeing a sustained uptrend. I'm not seeing a sustained downtrend. This is not really a good environment for this 1 hour trading style, you know. So the dollar pairs are not looking great, and unfortunately, I have to say that the JPY pairs don't look great either. They look pretty flat. They look pretty corrective. You kind of have wicks all over the place, right? Very wicky price action. The problem with EJ, the problem with the Euro, Japanese yen is that both of those currencies are pretty strong. Okay, so the Euro is right now strong. The Japanese yen is strong as well. We have a risk off environment. That means this chart is going to be flat. And you could definitely see the chart being flat, or you could definitely see the fundamentals on the chart because it's flat. AJ again flat, and NJ is looking pretty corrective and pretty flat as well. I mean, overall, possibly ascending. Let me check out the 4 hour. Yeah, it is kind of breaking these major highs. It is kind of breaking these major highs and retracing, printing huge wicks as well. So that is true that it is kind of ascending. Let's see the 1 hour. But overall, if I just look at the latest price action, it doesn't look good. Yeah, just not for me. Okay, that's about it. I don't really want to waste a lot of time because the pairs are not looking conducive right now. What I want to now check out is, let's jump onto another screen. Let me share this, present. Let's see the fundamentals. Okay. What is happening with the fundamentals? And also what I wanted to add, if you're looking for a news source, usually the professionals, they use Bloomberg or they use Reuters. Okay. Bloomberg costs, I think, $32,000 per year, which is too expensive. That's more than my trading account. Reuters costs around $22,000 per year. So that's just not going to happen for me as a trader. It's too expensive. I'm not going to pay those prices for now. Here, this account, this is on Twitter, Walter Bloomberg, handle at Delta One. He basically posts latest news like this. See? Okay. And this is great because we had the latest news, for example, was for China. Okay, there's a lot of news coming out. See, for example, this exceptions for some Chinese auto parts. See, or you have some war stuff as well. So Zelensky says he believes document with proposals from Wednesday London talks on Trump's desk now. So if you're looking for a news source to see what is happening with the tariffs, especially now, because the tariffs are really problematic and they're coming straight from Trump's Truth Social account, well, this account catches all of the news and posts it like this. So you can stay up to date with, see, a new one came out. Okay, so Trump says he thinks Russia's Putin will listen to him on stopping strikes in Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. We heard this a million times. But anyway, this is great. It's free. I highly recommend you guys follow this guy. So, okay, now getting back to the fundamentals. Let me remove the neutral bias. This is what we have. You have the NASDAQ. I don't think it's currently at a... Okay, so we have a comment from Serge. I have been day trading technicals for years, but never enter around news. And a little over a year, I started scalping high impact news, which made me most of my profits. Okay, that's interesting stuff. So you're basically sort of a hybrid between technical trading and fundamental trading. That's good. That's there's a very good trading edge in trading high impact news if you know what you're doing. You can do it on stocks. You can do it on Forex as well. So yeah, good luck with that. I think there's a definite trading edge in that. Definitely focus on your backtesting data. If your confidence is weighing off a little bit, definitely just go back to backtesting. Backtesting is, in my opinion, the best way to build on your confidence. So yeah, good luck with that, and hopefully see you next week in the next live stream. Yeah, it's not for newbie traders. It's pretty hard stuff. It's pretty hard stuff. It's pretty psychologically demanding. It's fast, and yeah, scalping news is very hard. And you could get into a lot of drawdown pretty fast. You could also get into a lot of profits pretty fast. So if you don't know what you're doing, if your psychology is not in check, you could make a lot of, let's say, trading errors. It's not for the weak. But you can make a lot of profits with it. There is a clear trading edge in that sort of approach, and I like it. I know some of the most successful prop firms in the world, such as SMB Capital, they solely do scalping news events, okay, or scalping stocks, scalping earnings, scalping breaking news for stocks. So yeah, this is what I'm seeing. You have the euro dollar, you have GBP USD bullish reading, you have Bitcoin bullish reading, NASDAQ, as I mentioned. Yes, it is a bullish reading, but the technicals don't look great right now. I'm going to take a look at them a bit later, but yeah, NASDAQ is not really on my list. To sell, I'm not really looking for much to sell. One thing that is cool, if you click, for example, gold, you'll see exactly how the score is made. See? So this explains exactly how you get a reading of 5, which is bullish right here. So that's pretty cool. COT data, retail sentiment, seasonality, trend, GDP, manufacturing. You have interest rates. That has to do with the treasury yield. Seasonality, that's also one cool thing. You can see how good a specific asset performs in a specific month. So April is usually very bullish for gold. very bullish. January is very bullish, and April is very bullish. One more thing I want to take a look at before we get back onto the charts, and that is, where is it? Economic heat maps, the US. That's the most important heat map. Okay, everyone is looking at the US. And these are the numbers. So we haven't really gotten an update. Oh, we have actually. Okay, we have. So US initial jobless claims happened today. This was the latest update. Surprise, 0. So the forecast was 222,000. Actual number came in right on the dot. So that's a neutral reading. Okay, that's a neutral reading. But for example, you have the GDP growth, which was a bullish surprise for the USD, which was bullish for the stocks. You also had unemployment rate, which came in higher than expected, which is bearish for the US dollar, bearish for stocks. So I regularly open this. I look at this a couple of times per week to see what is going on with the US economy. Does this look like a recession? So I know right now a lot of you are being bombarded by a huge amount of news articles and every single influencer online saying that we are close to a recession and that possibly already in a recession. Now, that is just not true, because when it comes to recession, you need to look at the data. Okay, if the data is bad, then we are clearly heading into a recession. Currently, the data is looking okay. Sure, the unemployment is going up, but it's just a little bit, 0.1. We also had the jobless claims. It's kind of, it's a neutral reading, job openings. It's a bit negative. So just a little bit negative. NFP. Okay, NFP came in pretty bullish. But as you can see from the data, the US economy is still doing pretty well. So don't let outside news articles or influencers tell you that we are heading for a recession, because the data is just showing a different story. The data is still pretty strong. Yeah, just wanted to comment on that. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the rumors. Focus on the numbers. The numbers are the only thing that is correct. The numbers are the only thing that can lead you to make a good trading decision. And as you can see here, you also have a lot of other economic heat maps. EU economic heat map. Okay, for the euro, you can see some bullish stuff. It's okay. It's kind of bullish. Latest one was on 23rd of April. It was services PMIs, came in bearish for the euro, bearish for stocks, came in a bit lower than the forecast. But yeah, that's about it for the Edge Finder. There is actually a 45% discount for the Edge Finder. Right now, the discount lasts until the end of April. Okay, 45% discount on the software lasts until the end of April. If you use my code MARKO, you'll get 45% off. Highly recommended. Amazing software, totally worth it. It can transform your trading if you know how to implement it into your trading. Okay, and the best way to implement it is to actually just look at top setups, see what's bullish, see what's bearish, add that as a confluence for your own trading. Okay, now let's get back to the charts. Stop this. Back to trading view. Okay. We're going to do stocks. We're going to do the NASDAQ. We're going to do the S&P. Now, the NASDAQ is getting a bullish reading on the Edge Finder, as you saw. So I am watching it, but we still haven't broken out of this level right here. This was the Wednesday news. This was the news when Trump said that he's going to put a 90-day pause on tariffs. And then we just kind of ranged around inside of this massive candle, right? We just kind of ranged around in this area. So I would like to see a breakout first. If we can break out and then show me a nice entry on my little 1-hour chart, I would like that. I would get in on a buy setup in that scenario. Right now, though, we are, in my opinion, in no man's land. Okay, I would say this whole candle is no man's land, and I want to see a clear breakout to the upside or to the downside out of this candle. Okay, that is the game plan for the Nasdaq. S&P looks pretty much the same, but I'm not personally looking for an entry on the S&P because it's not getting a bullish reading on the Edge Finder. I am only looking at the S&P as a long-term investment. Okay, I bought some here, I bought some here, I bought some here yesterday, I believe. So yeah, S&P 500 as a long-term investment. I think these levels are great. You're getting a, what is it? Let's see. You're getting a 11% discount. If you were smart and bought at the lows, you would have been getting around a 20% discount, which is pretty healthy. It's pretty good. Okay. The VIX. VIX is going down, which is interesting. This measures the volatility of the options market for the S&P 500. If the VIX is going up, S&P goes down. If the VIX is going down, S&P should be going up. So this is a good sign. This is a bullish sign for the S&P 500 that the VIX is slowly going lower. This is gold, which we mentioned. I'm looking for buy setups, but I need the confirmation from the Edge Finder. Silver. Silver is looking pretty, in my opinion, corrective. I don't know. I just don't like an entry right here. If I was looking for an entry, I would go, of course, with a buy entry because we are in a risk-off environment, and in a risk-off environment, metals should go up in value. Okay, so that's for silver. I have a very bullish bias. I just don't like the price action. I mean, this is the daily chart, and we just look stuck inside of this area. We're not moving up, we're not moving down, just kind of moving from one extreme to another, you know. If we can break out, higher, then sure, I will possibly consider some. This is also interesting. Gold is at all-time highs, while silver is not. So conclusion is gold looks better. Okay, if you're looking to trade the metals, my personal preference would be gold because it's heavily trending up. Ethereum looks worse than Bitcoin. Yes, there's a little bit of a move up, but it was a massive sell-off before. Just a massive, massive sell-off on Ethereum. Looked pretty bad. Definitely doesn't look healthy. Bitcoin looking much better, much healthier relative to the Nasdaq. It's better. It's more bullish than the Nasdaq. Ethereum, I would leave alone. I wouldn't really touch. I wouldn't even go with long-term investments into Ethereum, to be honest. DXY, in my opinion, the dollar index is very bearish. So for those of you that don't understand the dollar index, it measures the strength of the US dollar relative to other currencies. Okay, so if this thing is going down, the dollar is losing a lot of value. EU goes up, GU goes up, AU goes up. This thing looks still very bearish, in my opinion. Technicals are pretty bad, pretty unhealthy. Massive selling momentum, massive selling pressure, a bit of a relief now on the bottom. For me to have a bull case on DXY, I would need to see, let's say, 2 consecutive massive bullish candles on the daily chart. That would be good for me to flip to a bull. Okay, right now, as it stands, very bearish. I would expect more downside, and it makes sense. It makes sense with the current risk-off environment. This definitely makes sense. All the drama is coming from the United States. People are fleeing from the United States into other countries, into other stocks, into gold, into other currencies. And the final one for today, that will be US oil. US oil, I mean, I don't know, looks flat and range bound. You could say it did definitely look very bearish at this point, but it's a heavy level that the buyers are going to defend. 58 is really a low level. I think a lot of buyers start stepping in at this level, you know. But yeah, this was selling off right as Trump got into office. Sell off, pullback, sell off. Could this be a pullback before we sell off again? Possibly. Is that really what we want to see for the health of the world? I don't know. I don't think so. It will be good for inflation, but it will be a massive sign that something is going wrong and that demand for oil has drastically gone down. Okay. So I'm not an oil expert. I can only say that this chart looks right now a bit flat. In my personal opinion, a bit flat and range bound. We're kind of moving from one extreme to another. And I would not be surprised if this kind of just messes about in this general area as it has been ranging from August. Okay. As it has been ranging, actually not from August, but kind of from even March of 2023. Oil, I don't really want to touch, even if I get a massive bullish or massive bearish reading on the Edge Finder. So even if the fundamentals are heavily bullish or heavily bearish, I'll still be really careful. I'll still be really careful with oil. Risk off should be bearish for oil. Okay, so the current overall market environment is bearish for US oil. That would be about it. Thank you guys very much for watching. So the only trade I had was on gold. It was a 2.8% winner, somewhere from this level, trailed it out from here. Okay, something like this. Very happy with the trade. Looking for more setups. My main thing going into the next week, let's say, it's gonna be euro dollar, pound dollar, Bitcoin as a buy setup, looking to buy those three instruments. So yeah, that's it. If you guys want to join our free Discord, I advise you to do so. Join at zentumtrading.com. Absolutely free. If you do want to become a paid member, you can do so by buying a premium subscription. So yeah, any questions, put it in the comment section or join our free Discord. Ask me there. You can send me a DM. You'll find my profile. You'll find everything on there. So yeah, that's about it. See you in the next video.